What appears on the surface is a bunch of colored cells. Seems simple using conditional formatting. It's not so simple, and I'll explain to you why. What the challenges are in using conditional formatting in a situation like this. Brad Williams, Excel Prime. Here is another conditional formatting, and this one is tricky. Let me try to explain how this thing worked. Incorporating this conditional format can be, well, it took me a couple attempts in order to get these colors correct. This one will require a little bit of practice on your part. I'm going to explain it the best I can. Conditional formatting can be highlighted. You can use different colors based on percentage score. You can use numerous conditional formatting rules. So you're going to have to set these up based on this structure. You can set up multiple conditional formatting rules in each distinctive color. Okay, rules for conditional formattings are tested sequentially. In other words, 60, 70, 80, all right, so on and so forth. The first formula is evaluated for each cell in the list B5 to B12. If the value is greater or equal to 90, the formula will return true and applies the pink fill. Okay, I didn't use pink. I used red, orange, and green. The second formula test for each cell within B5 to B12 for greater than 80, and then greater than et cetera, et cetera. I know the et cetera, is just my way of saying, let's move on and let me show you what's going on. Here's the conditional format, B5 greater than equal to 90. Notice we're not using any reference here. We're not using relative. We're not using absolute. We're not doing a comparison. All we're doing is saying, look, if this score is less than something or greater than something, show me the color. Otherwise, move on. Let's see what's going on here. Remember, in order to see the conditional format, you have to be within the range, okay? Hit conditional formatting over here, hit manage rules. You're going to see how to set this up. For each color, you're going to have to do this individually. B5 greater than 90, paint it green. B5 greater than 80, paint it orange. B5 less than 80, red. Because we're not setting up a range, all we hit is B5 to B12. That can be preset, close. In other words, you can do this, go conditional formatting, manage rules. You're going to see this setup. Edit rules, here's the formula. It's set. But then you're going to have to make sure your formula is set up accordingly. You're going to have to now go down. You're going to have to hit this rule. These are 3 separate rules. Once it's set up, it should work. Let's see if we can do this. It took me a while, so bear with me. I'm going to just grab this data, copy, and I'm going to hit paste special. I'm just going to hit the percentage sign. Here we have this information. Let's see what happens here. We can go in, format, new rule. We're going to go use formula. And because I didn't copy paste this, we're just going to hit equals B5 greater than 90%. You don't need to worry about upper or lowercase. It will automatically change it to uppercase. We're going to go format. We're going to go red. Okay, what happened? Well, there's a couple things. Let's go back in. Let's go conditional formatting, manage rules. And you're going to see right off the bat, I didn't preset. In other words, I didn't say this applies to this entire list. So now I have to go back in and I'm going to change this. I have to highlight this range. Okay, we're good there. But keep in mind what we're trying to do here. We need to add a new rule because B5 is greater than 90%, but it's not set. So let's just see what happens here. Okay. you could see greater than 90 and that's not what we're trying to do. That doesn't look correct. Well, now we got to go back in. Remember, each time you do this, this point in time, you want to hit Control S because the instability and the bugs within this system, as I've stated earlier. So go in, hit Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, and B5 greater than 90. Keep in mind, is this correct? Well, no, I screwed up. I didn't put greater than or equal to 90. So edit rule, greater than, and remember when you're doing this, be careful. You cannot use the arrows. In order to make changes within this conditional format, you can only move around by mouse. Hit equal, hit OK. Spaces, they're generally not a problem. If there's a space, hit OK, hit new rule. Make sure the area is highlighted. Go use formula. Go equals B5 greater than, be sure to put the equal sign, 80%. Go to format, go to orange, go OK, hit OK. And now we want to do one more. We want to add one more rule, new rule, use formula, B5 equals B5 less than 80%. And I'm going to let you think about the logic here. 80% green. Format, more colors. I like exuberant green. Okay. Okay. Again, my typing sucks. I think that's correct. I'm just going from memory. Let's hit OK. Well, that's all screwed up. Where'd you screw up? When you do something like this, it just takes practice. So go in, hit Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules. Notice B5 greater than 90. Notice B5, there's no equal sign. B5 equals, you notice how many times I screwed up here? Go back, close, go back here, go Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, and change the rules. You want to go Edit, and you want to go Equals. Okay? We add this, Edits, Change, Edit Rule, and greater than, and I think this was greater than equals to. Well, literally, I'm just not thinking the logic. I'm just trying to copy what we did. Manage rules. B5 greater than 90, B5 greater than 80, B5 less than 80. So we got to B5 less than equal to 80, close, Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules. This was way off. Wasn't this less than 80, edit? And this should be, okay, that should be correct. Okay, my friggin' limited. Manage Rules, less than or equal to 80, greater than or equal to 80. Okay, edit, rules, edit, equals to 80, edit, 90. Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, less than or equal to 80, greater than equal to 80, 5 greater than 90. Edit, rules, wow. How can this be so screwed up? Greater than 90, right? Greater than equal to 90, less than or equal to 80. Because it manage rules greater than equal to 80. So formatting, manage rules greater than equal to 80. Edit, 80. Delete. Less than or equal to 90. So there you go. Be sure to check out our extensive courses, which include Excel data and text manipulation for advanced users, beginners, intermediate. We also have this great essentials, the A to Z for advanced users, the comprehensive beginner level 1 and 2. Then we have our advanced formulas, strictly formulas, great set of courses, which we have a beginner level 1 and beginner level 2, this intermediate level, and we have this advanced level. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. When you're doing this, write it out ahead of time. What are we doing? Conditional formatting, manage rules. B5, greater than 90. B5, is B5 greater than 90? If so, paint it green. If B5 is less than or equal to 90, paint it red, okay? But is B5 greater than or equal to 80? Well, yes. But why isn't this orange? Because there's a preference here. So 60 is greater than 80, but it's less than 90. This is the challenge of understanding the conditional formatting. There is a hierarchy. What has the higher priority? The red. You go down. At what point does this change? Anything B5 is greater than, at what point? So B8 is greater than or equal to 80. So then it turns to orange. I don't make these rules. This is how Excel interprets this information. That's why when you sit down and you do something like this, you're gonna run into the logic. You kind of have to throw out the logic, and you have to do a bit of interpretation. And that is, red has less than or equal to 90 has a higher priority until it runs into this other conflict. And then this conflict is going to override this until it is overridden by the green. That's just the best way I can try to explain it. Now, stop if true. You can experiment with this. At some point in time, once you hit greater than or equal to 90, you're going to see the preference. I know this is an extended conditional formatting explanation, and I will edit this out to its best. This one, when I first incorporated this into the conditional formatting tutorial, it took a bit of work. Even the second time, it took a little bit of work because we're not using logic, we're using rules. Okay, that's the best way I can try to explain this. As I said, I'm not a fan of conditional formatting. Where would you use this? I don't know. Brad Williams, Excel Prime. Thanks for your time.